All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Mindful Merchants Live. You guys know my co host,
He's gonna
the
point
Lone
this.
Star Picker, and myself, Cali Reseller Luis. And then we have our special guest, Buffalo Picker, in the house. So you guys know it's
Buffalo
going to be a great
Picker,
live.
welcome,
And
man.
welcome.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Tommy,
Appreciate
out
you.
of Georgia, we got an East Coast, East Coast boy here. All right, and there's our little reseller there, Louis, coming in the middle of the show. He's gonna come over and take over Daddy's spot in a minute. So we'll get a little bit of that coming in and out. But thank you for coming today, Tommy. We greatly appreciate you. This has been a long time in planning, so I know we've asked you a long while back, and we're just happy that you're able to be here, and we're really grateful. So today, this is we changed this last week. We used to call it Mondays Mindful Merchants. We're still going to hold it down on Mondays,
Right.
And it is going to be called Monday. It's going to be called Mindful Merchants. We're all about that. We're all about mental strategies, mental well-being, and we are merchants. So we're going to get this show started. Luis, do you want to say hi to a few people that popped in?
Yeah, let me say hi to a couple people popping in.
Ooh,
Hello, Wendy. Thank you for coming in. Regina's in the house too. Hello, Regina.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Wendy, for coming. We appreciate you.
Thanks for stopping in. And Shane flipping again.
Shane,
what's going on, Shane?
Shane, good to see you, man.
You got Philly Picker in the house too.
Joe,
let's see who
what's that? Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, I suppose have some type of competition with the Philly Picker next month. I think it is.
What's about that?
Yeah, I gotta remember the guy's show. Let's see here.
Is it the show they do live, or is it something that Joe's doing, or somebody else?
Yeah, it's somebody else. I'm gonna pull his name up right quick.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming. We got Shane back, yeah, and then there's this. I think it's called Calsylvania Reseller.
Calsylvania Reseller, and we have Reseller Rowboat. Thank you guys for stopping in.
Well, Reseller Rowboat's here. Hey, thank you for coming. She's out of Texas too, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Thank you so much for coming in, y'all. We're gonna get this started up in a little bit. And what's this? Oh, Philly says December 16th. I think Primetime Treasure Hunters. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's prime time, but it moved. It's not the 16th.
Okay, so Tom, you'll get back in touch
earlier. Yeah, Philly, check with that date because it was the 16th, but I think it's like the first week in December.
You know what I think? Speaking of mental strategies, I think he's trying to trip you up so he can win the competition. That's what
I know, right?
If you're listening, we got you. We know what you're up to, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
We're gonna trip up the Buffalo Picker. So we're gonna start it up here. Oh, look who walked in the door. Casually late with his little tie and his alligator shoes. We got Mr. Derek in the house. Fundamentals of Side Hustling. Y'all, if you haven't seen his show, check it out on Wednesday. You guys will be like, oh, I'm had it with this week. Here it is. Show. Get you a little Coke or rum or whatever it is you drink, your iced tea. Go in there, have fun, because that's what it's all about. We got Storage Scavenger James in the house. Thank you for coming. Oh, look at that. Wonderful welcome. He says, welcome, Luis, Louie, and Buffalo Picker. That's Tommy there. All right.
Hey, what's going on, Derek? Philly Picker was correct, man. It is the 16th. I had my days crisscross.
Let me tell you something about Joe. Joe is like a stand-up guy. I don't know what it is. He just knows. He's that kid always brought his homework on time, and like somebody tried to trip him up. Said, no, I think it's a different day. And he's probably like, I'm going to stick with this day. No, we're just teasing y'all. So we got we said hello to Reseller Robot, but we didn't say hello to Lego Man of the Midwest. I have not heard that name before. If you all got links, let me go ahead. Yeah, Lego Man, you got a blue wrench. So drop y'all's links in there. Say hello to each other. Most importantly, say just support each other. Greet each other. And we're going to start this conversation because Tommy's got a limited time. He's been busy today, and he's been gracious to give a little bit of moment out of his day. And we're just, like I said, we're really thankful just to be able to hang out like this. It's going to be casual. We're just going to off the cuff and a little organic. I think Luis has a question to start the ball rolling here. So
yeah, definitely. So how did you come up with the name Buffalo Picker?
What is the story? What is the story behind that?
Story behind that?
Don't sound like you made it up.
Yeah, I mean, basically, long story short.
No, it's a long story. We want
I don't want to do the long story, man. I actually did the long story on one of my videos, but the short story to that is I went out to a estate sale one day, and the guy had a picture of the American Buffalo Soldier.
With a photograph.
It was actually a print, and they only made a limited amount of those prints from the. It was actually a print of the last living Buffalo Soldier that died in 2005.
Oh,
and
man.
Once I got the photo, the guy he basically sold me the photo for $40 that he originally paid over $400 for.
Okay.
So when I brought the photo home, I just basically started looking it up. I was looking up the author. The
artist,
the artist. I'm sorry, the artist.
That's okay. Yeah.
And once I found the history of that photo, I was like, man, this photo is like $900, and I was like, this was one of my first finds that I paid $40 for, and right now it's worth $900. Yeah. So I was like, I was just sitting in the office looking at it and reading the history of the actual Buffalo Soldier that was on the photo. And I was like,
so this is the first time. Well, I mean, you were slightly aware, or is this kind of your introduction about the historical?
Oh, no. I'm well read in the Buffalo Soldier.
Yeah. This specific print.
That print. Yeah. Now that print. Yeah. But if you African American in the military, U.S. Army, you're gonna at some point you would have heard about the Buffalo Soldiers.
Exactly. There's a song by I think it was what's his name in the Wailers there.
Bob Marley. Yeah.
One of the. I mean, it's a beautiful storytelling song that not only has significant. It's not just a beautiful, cool song you dance.
Right.
It's the history,
Right.
And so, artist, do you remember what year he made this print?
Not off the top of my head, man. I have that stuff over in my other office. This is the resale office, but we got another home office that everybody.
So you kept the print, okay?
Yeah. I basically, I originally gave it to my son, but once my daughter found out about it, she came in and basically negotiated with my son to get control of it. So. I told him that was on
like, she wants to be the caretaker.
Yeah. So I was like, because I'm not going to sell it. I mean, it's just going to be, in the family until they decide to do something with it. But I used basically what I did, man, was in that moment, I said, I don't have a reseller name. So I'm a retired military person. The Buffalo Soldier is all about the military.
Very much so.
African Americans in the military. So I was like, you know what? Buffalo Soldier. That's Buffalo
direct lineage there. That must have blew you away. That is a direct lineage. That they were your spiritual fathers in terms of military,
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's why I like, not just because of the value, but I was just like, I'm not gonna sell this photo. This right here would be in the family as long as the people I leave behind want to keep it in the family.
There you go. Well, let me say this real quick, because I don't know if you know this about me, Tommie, and like you're talking about value or something. I don't remember. Maybe in a minute, after I ask or just mention this, you can tell me what point or stage your reseller, status was when around that time you found it. Because I have a master's in arts, and that's fine arts, and so when you talk about printmaking and artwork and stuff like that, I have a deep passion for it. So. You talk about value, you can't place intrinsic value or emotional value, or, a deep-seated like historical value of something can, overweigh the monetary value somebody puts. I don't care. You can have it appraised and, and it's like the last of its kind. It doesn't matter. It could be more valuable than that,
Right.
That's kind of, I think, the rich thing of, I know you do a lot of Amazon, and we'll get in that in a minute, but finding something like that is not the same as finding something multiples that you can sell and make good money, which is, I think, an enriching experience.
I mean, anything that you can, it's up to you to consider what is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anybody can be an expert and go out there and say, okay, this is the value of this and this is the value of that. But the sentimental value that you have in something could make it priceless.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, and it's not that it's priceless in terms of monetary. It's just that its value is just so rich,
Right.
And it's like it's like, how do you put a price on that? That's which I love that term. It's priceless. It's like some things that's kind of where we're going with this like whole concept of the show is like us as resellers, we're responsible at some time. I kind of like the direction this is going. So maybe we'll kind of entertain this a little bit and play off of it. Is that we have a responsibility of sometimes, and I've talked about this like with Nana Tink Treasure, her name's Trish in real life, and we did that show on ephemera. So, for example, like if we were to run across like one of the last photographs of a Buffalo Soldier or whoever it is, that rich history of no matter what it is you run across, we have like a responsibility as resellers. There's certain authorities like in the art world or whatever it is that the world that that's able, like guys that know cars or whatever it is, they can tell you best of the monetary value of something. But like when it comes to like, but what's our responsibility? Like, what's about the integrity of something? And it really comes down to that. It's like, where's our integrity when we come into it? And I think us as resellers in this community, I think we're entertaining those thoughts. Sometimes I don't even know if we're conscious of it, or is it a subconscious, deeper level that comes like maybe down here?
Right.
But, like, we want to like share this experience and go, hey, I'm doing the same thing as you, but like, did you find this? And like, it's not a greedy feeling. Sometimes it's like, look what I found. This is like so meaningful. And I think that's kind of what it's really all about,
Right.
Be mindful about something, you're being aware, right? So if you're aware, you want to say, well, what's the meaning of this? And it's like, that's a beautiful story. So I
think, and just to piggyback off of what you said is that I think we all are conscious of what we find when we out in the wild looking, but at the end of the day, we are resellers, so I think that's see all when you go out and find something that, the significance of that photo. I'm not going to lie. When I first bought that photo, they were actually selling it at their estate sale, or actually, proposed to sell it for around $350. But it was the last day of the sale and nobody moved on. And the guy said, just give me 40 because we trying to move out of this house and get down to Florida. So I got it for 40. So
right time, right place. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right. So my intent was to come home and sell it, get the value of it and sell it. But once I recognized that was a portrait of the last living Buffalo Soldier, that changed the game.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And that's what I mean, like the real meaning of the root, like where this is coming about. And so in that way, what you're doing is it's not just like I'm carrying this tradition and this is who I represent and but it gave you a deep meaning and significance as you as a reseller. That's how your name came about. So I think it's a wonderful start to our show. We're just happy to have you. Because people, they go, oh, Buffalo Picker, whatever. He lives in New York. And I'm like, no,
I got that a lot.
I knew it. I kind of knew it from the beginning, but then I did ask. I'm like, well, don't assume, but maybe he does live up in New York and he's a Buffalo Bills fan.
Hey, man,
little rinky-dink goatee he be wearing.
I got a country Southern accent. I don't know how anybody could confuse me from being up north, man.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but you know what? What if you're down in the South and if you don't mind, identify. Do you mind telling people where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from the suburbs of Atlanta, a city called Fayetteville.
So you born and raised in
No. Okay. I was born and raised in Miller, Georgia. Which I left at right after high school, joined military, and never really went back to live but visit. And now I don't.
Was that a small town?
Yeah, it's a small town, but most of my relatives, majority of my relatives, no longer live there. So I may go back there for a football game to kind of, reminisce about my glory days or whatever.
Go down memory lane.
Yeah. But other than that, man, I don't really go back there much.
Yeah.
So tell me about the young Tommie, if I can jump into this. It's like did young Tommie, like, what was his connection, do you think? I don't care what little lineage of there's a little thread there. Do you think there was a connection of being a reseller or something that helped you, your history of like why you doing what you're doing?
Not at a young age, man. At a young age, my main focus was sports, man. I had the dream that one day I would be playing on Sundays in the NFL, and most of my whole, younger years or teen years was all surround sports, man.
Okay. Well, that's a
played
good
football from Pee-wee high school. Was one of my.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you would pause for a second. No, but I was going to say,
okay.
To kind of push us forward that's a good starting point, because the tie-in that I'm seeing, the little bit I know about you, Tommie, that I see, and I know there's a delay here, so I beg your pardon, but
That's all right.
I do see a thread, is that you're very disciplined. When I met you and we started talking, I was like, I want to know this guy.
That discipline comes from the military, man.
Well, it started with football too,
Yeah. Let me reel that back.
All right, let's go.
The discipline comes from the house.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Started with my grandmother. That's where the base of the discipline comes from. And then I was introduced to a football coach that his nickname was Boot, like Boot, math. Like basically when you go to play football for him, it's like going through boot camp, So he was basically like, my drill sergeant of high school that really kept you accountable on while you was in the classroom to when you was on the football.
What was it? Do you remember his name?
His name was Jimmy Mathis, but everybody had a nickname around town called him Boot Mathis. Nice. But he actually our football field is named after him right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that guy, he couldn't coach that well, but he could definitely definitely had discipline. So
did he have like an inspirational quality about him, would you say?
Well, he was more like a father figure for everybody. Good. He was Caucasian, but everybody in the town loved this guy. If he seen you doing something wrong, he'd have a problem coming to your house no matter what community you lived in. Your parents know what was going on, because back then, it wasn't a cell phone thing or whatever. So they would have to actually drive to your house to say, hey, I seen Tommie doing this, and I know he shouldn't be doing that, and I know he was raised better, to that extent. But are
you going to tell us what you did wrong?
No. I'm just making an example.
He's just making an example of what he's saying.
When I was a kid, man, I wasn't a troubled child, man. I was a pretty good kid.
I bet you were.
But I can say this: going through 4 years of high school ball with Boot Mathis really made the military easy for me when I got into basic training.
You were able to hear and see in a different way. You can listen.
Man, I'm telling you, because I did not want to get in no trouble. I stayed low. Everything I was told.
You're a great part of this community. You help people. I see you. And one reason I was talking to Luis about having you as a guest on the show, you inspire people without having to like really, like the coach that pats them on the back. And I stole this idea from Eric, OBX picker, but like there's the coaches that pat you on the back, and then there's the coaches that kind of like, just get with it. Get with the program,
Right.
Let's go. Come on.
Right. Let me say, this guy, he didn't yell a lot. He was very soft-spoken, but when he spoke, everybody listened, because he carried that much power in the community. We knew about this guy when we was in elementary school, and I was like, I wanted to play ball more than I feared him.
Interesting.
But the thing about it is, if I didn't want to play ball that bad, I probably would never play football for him because
so that you have this drive. Like there's this young Tommie that's like, I really want to play it, but then you hear these stories, which are probably truth anyway, because that's a mental capacity thing. And so I'm getting somewhere. So I'm gonna, once again, I'm gonna beat around the bush and bring this to a point. Is that here's young Tommie coming into it, who he is today. Because I see you as a man of drive. I see you as a man of honor. I see you as a guy that's got a really good, diligent behavior. And I really enjoy that. So like when I saw you, I was like, I need to know this guy. I may never be able to be up to your level, but like you are contagious in the sense that when listening to you talk about your passion and stuff like that, that's why when I talk with you and you were very polite, you invited me on your show once, and I don't know, I may be the only guest that was invited twice, but like, we had a good time. I really enjoy talking to business,
Right.
And so I see that drive as a young boy, wanting to get into football, not fearing anything, or at least just saying, I want to go past that mental struggle. And all of a sudden you got discipline. And now you're growing up and you're starting. What made you want to go in the military?
Basically, when I was in high school, man, we had a and this opportunity came with the coach. Our head coach, Jimmy Mathers, graduated from University of Georgia. And during his time at University of Georgia, he was teammates and classmates with Eric Russell, who was the defensive coordinator when Georgia won their national championship back in the 80s with Herschel Walker. Well, this particular guy, he had been recruited by Georgia Southern to come to Georgia and come to Georgia Southern, create a football program. Okay. So that same year, he was the guest speaker at our football banquet. So during the banquet, he went and, basically him and the coach talk, and the coach was like, hey, I got some guys that you may want to see some film on. And he looked at the film, and basically a week later, three of us came into the coach's office, and the coach was like, Georgia Southern want to offer y'all a partial scholarship. And if you're team, you can get a full scholarship. So the thing, man, was that I put it like this right here. I wanted to do whatever it took to get out of my city. Because it wasn't nothing at that young age. I could tell or see that it wasn't anything going on in that city. But
you also knew that it took a lot of hard work to get and do and be where you needed to be.
Oh yeah. That's
a wonderful thing.
I was looking for an opportunity, and the military presented a better opportunity than me going to try out for a partial scholarship and a possibility of not even making the team.
Okay. That's a good thing. Real quick, we're gonna just take a pause here. I know they've been in here for a little while, but Brian Try Flippers is here. Just wanted to say hi. Do you see anybody else here?
Yeah, Rebel Junk's in here. Thank you. Key Lime Kisses came in. Global Voodoo came in as well.
Thank you, Global Voodoo. Mike.
Let's see. Jerry's in here. How you doing, Jerry? Reseller Niche came in.
Wolf Toy 13. If you can say your name, and is it Calisavania? Reseller, if you guys can just post your name in there. And Eric OBX Picker, who I stole his story, but he called it what did he say a little while ago? He said
kick in the pants.
Yeah, kick in the pants. Tommie don't know nothing about it. He don't need no kick in the pants. But we got a lot. We got a nice little crowd here. We want to thank you first and foremost, everybody. One of our mottos that we like to talk about is how can you maintain your focus and elevate? We are merchants. We're resellers. We do what we can do. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all come onto different platforms. So, some of us are Amazon. Some of us like eBay. Some of us like that Posh or Mercari. It doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat. And, if you're a Facebook marketplace kind of guy or whatever, Craigslist, go at it. Just make that money. And but the thing is talking about mental strategies, you were in the military. You came in and out, all of a sudden, here you are. Do you mind if I ask you how old were you when you left the military?
I was 40.
Okay, so you were like as a career military, correct?
Right.
That's awesome. So that brought you a lot of value, and you saw something different. But once you left that, did you know anything about what you were wanting to do? Did you do any reselling while you were in the military? Did you do any bartering?
I did.
Let's talk. You don't mind sharing,
No. I mean,
my dad was a military guy, and he talked trade sometimes was worth more than money.
Yep.
Right. I didn't know anything about when I was in the military. I didn't know anything about eBay, Amazon, those platforms to sell. I was strictly selling out of my truck. Myself and one of my cousins, we paired up, and we was pretty much running between New York, Atlanta, Macon, and Columbus. And we had a lot of customers. We was basically like out close to $8,000 to $10,000 a week, because we had customers that was like committed to the items that we was getting. But the thing was, everything we was selling was counterfeit. It wasn't nothing legal made in the store. But the thing was, the items were so made so well that you couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And we was just pushing it because, we didn't know anything about, the eBay, Amazon route at that time. So we did that for about a good year. And we kind of got in the game late, because once we got into it, within a year, New York started basically shutting down. You couldn't find the merchandise anymore. It was rare that you could, get a couple contacts to get the item.
It got tighter, and it was harder to get. Yeah,
they pretty much customs was shutting it down. So, once you shut down the supplier, then you can't get what you need to put onto the street. So
you were mindful at that point. You and your cousin were doing your business. You're like, hey, this is good, and all of a sudden, choom, you get.
Now, if I would have learned that you could do this, basically go out and retail arbitrage and sell the stuff on eBay and Amazon, I truly would have went that route. But I didn't even know that existed when I was in the military.
Well, maybe it's a good thing you didn't. If some of the stuff was, a little bit of the,
I wouldn't. I'm saying I wouldn't even went that route at all.
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing is, going that route, it taught me how to negotiate the deal.
And it also taught you, not just to negotiate, but to keep in the game and making that connection, and which is part of that aspect of it, but it's different. If you don't have relationships, like you were telling us, if you got a honey hole and you don't know somebody in there, how are you supposed to make that rhythm and flow go? Louis, he can tell you he's on to me all the time. You got to get that connection.
Yeah, right. Connection is king, man. I mean, like I said, I learned how to negotiate, even though it was the wrong side of the tracks of reselling, but I learned a lot of valuable lessons on that side of the track. Like you said, building relationships. I built a lot of relationships. I learned how to negotiate price and not just accept what's, being offered. If you lived in New York, which I think you have, those are some hard negotiators up there. If you can negotiate with them to crack their prices, you pretty much getting good. So I took all those skills and brought it into what I do now. When I go out to garage sales and estate sales, I don't never accept the price that they offer.
Mm-hmm. And especially, imagine if you're meeting a new person and maybe Luis can speak to this, Luis, if you don't mind talking a little bit about it, or maybe kind of bring it into a question of awareness, how did you, Luis, when you were starting out, you make a connection, but you had one. Luis has got some. Let me tell you want to learn some connection stuff. Talk to Luis. He got a guy. He could probably got 2 or 3 guys I don't know about, but how important would you bring into that equation, Luis, the connections, the communication,
Well, no, I mean, the connection, it's important. It's always good to connect with people, because when you could connect with one person and you built that relationship, then, it becomes a business relationship, and then you'll get all the good stuff that you're going to get. Right. And that relationship might open a door to somebody else, because a lot of these people that I work with, they sometimes say, well, I know this guy that has this kind of inventory, or I know another guy that does this. So by you building those relationships and those connections with these people, it just opens up more doors to a possibility of finding more places to, more honey holes, like you say, to source from.
Right.
And
also,
that's important.
Can I interject? More, you say you're talking about more possibilities or more opportunities.
Opportunities, yeah.
And I'm bringing this up because Tommie has talked about this, and I don't know if he cares to go there or not, but like one of the things we talk about is, what do you need to do to level up? I mean, like, you can be that guy that has the connection all the time, but what happens when that connection goes away? Like, you gave a good example, Tommie. New York shut that stuff down, and Luis, how long would you say you've been in business with this one guy? You've worked hard and long to make this relationship happen, right?
Yeah, I've known him for close to 9 years now.
Okay, what do you think about that, Tommie? 9 years is a long time, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta, my thing. I just had a person just out of the blue talk to me last night while I was in the store.
Awesome.
And I was out Sunday night where, like, most people probably watching the football game. I was out hustling. And this guy just walked up to me out of the blue because he seen all these toys in my buggy, and he was like, "How you knew, they was gonna have an inventory tonight?" I said, I got connections in here.
Got that radar.
He was like, "Oh, you know some people working here?" I was like, "I don't know them." I said, "But we have a business relationship." I said, "When they get stuff in, they call me, and if I come to buy, I'll give them a gift
You're
card."
all about the business, yeah.
He was like, man, I ain't never thought of that. To, make a connection like that. I was like, yeah, that's what you got to do. And he was in the store trying to learn how to resell.
Oh, awesome. So when he saw you ain't playing around. This is how you do it.
Yeah, man. He was like, hey, man, let me get you your YouTube channel, and
awesome.
Is it okay? I could call you sometimes. Like, I don't know about the call, but you can go to YouTube.
Yeah. See, and I will tell you this, I've actually done this, and I'm not saying this because you're here, because I reached out to you a long time ago, about a month ago.
Right.
I've got some cats that are like, oh, I'm doing this, and I'll meet them at the Goodwill bins. I'm like, why are you here? But they're book guys, and I'm like, you really serious about leveling up? And he's like, well, yeah, I'm like, I don't know, you really serious about this? I'm like, you're gonna think I'm gonna try to sell you something, but I ain't selling you something. You want to level up? This is just one guy, and you can find other guys, but this guy knows about Amazon. You can, and if you don't have your game on, where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years? Where do you want to be? Like, so one of my things is I encourage my co-host, and like we have our little special talks, like y'all and your co-hosts and stuff. I'm sure you guys get to talk, and when you get a chance, and it's like, hey, what's going on in the week? What's your aims? What's your goals? And you're there to kind of, especially when you got a close relationship with somebody like Luis and I, we've gotten to know each other better. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are you doing things like that? And he's like, probably thinking I'm being nosy getting up in his business, but I'm like, where do you want to be? Like, why do you want to do it like this when maybe have you thought about doing it like this? And it's all about throwing that soccer ball back and forth. Can you kick it and strengthen that leg a little bit up so we can get into that aim and goal, because like, if you don't mind me saying, Luis, like one day I was like, why aren't you using the postal pickup? I mean, and I know a lot of people that they go, I don't trust them. I don't want to deal with it. But I'm like, I get that. And I know this is a pandemic and there's all kinds of things going on. And it's stressful on that economy for that government, business to sit there and pick up a lot of packages. But fourth quarter's coming up. You got kids, he's teaching, he's the principal, he's the dad,
I'm everything.
And it's like how you do it, it's like, and this guy is full time. This guy's a deal. People think Luis is always this little quiet cat over in the corner. I'm like, this guy's a hustler, and he'll cut you down. But my thing is like about leveling up.
Yeah.
You talk about this, Tommie, and I want to hear from you. But like when Luis and I talk, I'm like, Luis, where do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy that you're getting the stuff from, or you want to be the middleman? When can you get that warehouse? I'm trying to, like, let's get these dreams going. Let's help each other. You talk about it, Tommie. So
I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at, man. I everything you do, it has to have a purpose. And if it doesn't have a purpose, then you're just spinning your wheels. For me, the main purpose for me to come into the resale business, and I knew this from day one, was that I didn't want to do just running in the stores or going to the estate sales or going to garage sales. I knew that I wanted to get into this thing, roll my money for a good 2 to 3 years and keep it into the business and eventually get myself in a position to get a warehouse. And that's where I'm at. I mean, I put it on pause. I put it on pause for Q4 because Q4 is just too busy of time to be trying to get a warehouse in the game. So I said, you know what? I'm going to wait. January, February, that's the time I'm going to focus on getting a warehouse and get into the game and get into becoming the middleman.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of that pie going around, and one of the critical things I always hear about, like with business, and I like to read a lot of books and stuff like that, and our guest last week, he was like, read that Walmart book, you want to know about it. It's like, and I'm like, really, you're recommending that? And I've read it, and it's like, but I needed to go back and look again because it's probably been years. But the whole thing about, like, if you can just level up, and just like say, it's like, you could be the guy that cries and go, the government's taking my piece of the pie. Well, what are you doing about it to learn the tax laws or whatever you're doing? Mental strategy is so imperative and important. When it comes to being a businessman. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, that's when you're leveling up. You're going to need help. You're going to need to hire somebody. You're going to want to do good things about it. So,
yeah, another thing too, speaking of level up, man, is never think that you know it all or you good to go with your knowledge. I mean, for me, I think I know Amazon pretty well, but it doesn't stop me from going back to, Amazon University to sharpen my skills on things that I already know that I may have missed. It doesn't stop me from going to see, how Basil got started with his Amazon company that I sell on. All of those things and other people that I could name that I go and read their information to kind of, see how they did it, look at their blueprint,
not even how they started, but like, what are they doing now? Like this, what they're doing now may run the business into the ground, or it could be like a strategy that trips you off your game,
Right.
On top of it all the time, right? Like you gave me this movie that was about Jeff Bezos, and I thought, that's from the PBS documentary. I want to watch it. And when I watched it, it opened my eyes. Like, I knew he was driven like an automaton robot. Like, but that man was like Lex Luthor.
Right.
That was a level. When I thought, holy crow! I mean, that guy looks like Lex Luthor. He's acting like Lex Luthor.
I mean, even like Warren Buffett, man. I mean, I go and listen to all of these folks because you can take some away from somebody, and they don't have to be the Warren Buffetts. They could be little old Joe that worked down at the mechanic shop.
Yes,
but,
sir.
If they got information out there, what it going to hurt you to go and listen or read that information?
I think you hit it right. I don't think you hit it. I know you hit it because, like, one of my biggest mentors that I've ever grown up was a spiritual mentor. And their main thing is categorically, they said, you will never grow if you don't, always make sure you understand that you are learning. Once you stop learning, and I love the way you said it. I think I hit, keeping daily aims. I always tell everybody, keep a journal, whatever it is you need to do, put it in your phone with technology. I don't care, but you better have a chalkboard and write your aim down. I don't care if it's on the refrigerator or on a piece of sticky note. Have a daily aim because it brings you to a weekly goal. And that weekly goal will bring you to a monthly goal. And hopefully, if you're serious about this, you will come to the end of that year with that goal almost fulfilled. And if you, oh my gosh, you complaining because you wanted 100%, you only got 97. You wouldn't have been at that 97 if you didn't keep those aims, Right. And an aim is like an archer. You every day you're going to be practicing to hit that target, but you may get 30s and 40s until you're down to the 20s and 10s,
Right.
So
I'll tell you a little trick. I was just sitting here brainstorming how I can make myself better on Amazon.
Yes.
And I hear people on eBay all the time say, list. The more you list, the better opportunity you're going to have to make a sale. So I was just thinking, you know what? I can take that same method and move it over to Amazon. So what I did was the first year, I went back to the first year and I seen like how many items did I send into Amazon for Q4, the total. So what I did was I made myself a goal for the second year is to try to double that. And then this year, which is my third year, I want to try to double that. So not knowing that Amazon came, in June, Amazon came and changed the game a little bit, where they changed your IP score from 500 from 400 to 500 in order to have unlimited shipping. Storage space at Amazon. It kind of put a wrinkle in the game, but it didn't deter me because I'm still close to meeting my margins. So I took that simple technique that everybody talk about, and I brought it over to Amazon, and I went from that first year, I went from I think it was 63,000 in sales to the next year I went up to 178,000 in sales. So and this year right here, I'm not going to even throw them out of where I'm at right now, but I'm pushing it, because I got a goal. I got something to measure myself with. And that's simple thing I just took from eBay.
Very nice. Can you highlight this? Global Voodoo Mike has something he just posted right now. It says, private label is the next level on Amazon until Amazon steals your product, which happens a ton. Always think of the next product. Don't overthink it. The simplest products sell. That's an interesting little thing. Yeah, we got a lot of people dropping golden nuggets in here too. So we're gonna try to we're gonna acknowledge you on the live. But thank you guys staying awake here. This is what we talk about. This is what we do. That's what I love. I love that Tommie afforded us his time. So this aspect of the show is what we don't always get to talk about. We talk about mental strategies a lot too. But I think also talking about mental well-being is still important. We'll get around there too. I think one of the things about mental well-being I'd love to talk to you about is, so I look at you, and this, you can correct me if you think, oh, you're way off, Louie. I look at you as a very disciplined dude, and I mean, but it's this is afforded as a compliment, but also as a way of, like, I observe, like you said it well, and you said it best, Tom. It's like you should be able to learn from everybody. I don't care if it's the mechanic, your children's teacher, whoever it is. And like I said, my advisor told me you need to learn something new every day. You're always learning. Once you stop learning, you're dead. It's like there's nothing new to do. So like, because you think you know it all or whatever, But the thing is when you're leveling up, you got to keep a great mental, capacity, like, and your well-being is most important. We don't get to talk about this a lot. Are your physical well-being, right? Eating healthy, keeping exercise, exercise is a part of it. And I'm guilty. I'll tell you what, I don't walk as much as I need to, or even, I'm going to get back into my yoga or whatever that lessens that stress. We know stress will kill you.
Yes, sir.
And it really does. Like, you can eat some bad food, but like if you start stressing out, that's just going to contribute down the drain. But so I'm going to assume, do you still exercise?
I do.
What's your regiment like? Do you mind talking about it?
Well,
I know it's hard for you as a reseller, right?
Say again.
Is it hard for you as a reseller to kind of like make sure you?
Well, I mean, what I learned years ago in the military is you're gonna do what you want to do. If you don't really want to do it, you ain't gonna do it. Exercising is something that you gotta want to do. And right now, I'm on a goal to get my weight down about 20 pounds. So, and as you get older, I mean, things slow down. I mean, a whole lot slows down. So, and you only got one health, man. And I want to be around for my grandkids, for my kids, for my wife, and not be some person that, I'm not gonna say a burden, but have to depend on people to take care of them. Yeah. So I don't want that, man. I've been a bodybuilder most of my life. While I was in the military, I stayed in shape, and it's like once I got out of the military, I know that I could do better. So I started back working out, and like I said, my goal is to lose about 20 pounds.
That's a reasonable goal. And so I think, like with us as resellers, we want what we want, like you said. We're gonna want what we want. Like if you don't do anything to make results happen, like you got that little aim, and I think it's a reasonable aim. Like what's wrong with an easy 20 pounds? You can split that down, 4 months, like five pounds a month or whatever, But the thing is the key is, can you keep that repetition and consistency? Like we talk about, consistency is so imperative. And Luis and I always talk about, what are we going to do to be here for our children or, our family and this and that. So, I mean, that's kind of why we really do reselling, right? I mean, it's not just survival, but it's
I mean, you want to be around to enjoy what you created. You don't want to be, create something and then, you gotta be sitting over there in the nursing home trying to figure out, is the business still alive? Had they sold your business or anything like that. I mean, I just feel like if you got yourself together mentally and physically, and God forbid anything tragic happening, you should be able to be around, to see the fruits of your labor.
Yep.
Precisely. And that's a third part of it I like to talk about. Some people, we don't talk a lot of religion or anything, and it's not our place because everybody has different, but we could talk about spiritual practice. Everybody's, not everybody can be religious, but everybody can have a spiritual,
we are all spiritual, man.
Exactly. And I'm glad we're on the same page on that because, that's when I talk about body, mind, and spirit,
Right.
Spirit can come from here, but it is what our drive comes from. Like you said, if the being, us, the soul, whatever you want to call it, is going to do what it wants to do, that's a part of will. But knowing that we're not in control of it always, it's like, well, what's going to really, make it imperative that we are there for our grandchildren or whatever it is, or, our spouse or and just like you said, just being able to have that time where like, wow, things have shifted. Now I'm retired. I get to put a little extra time, but I still don't have to work as hard. It's like, that is something that's going to bring us mental well-being, I think,
Right.
That's kind of what I'm talking about, as opposed to, I'm seeing it going around. I'm going to just dance around this topic is like, I'm seeing, and maybe some of it is, I don't like doing this comparison, like seasoned resellers versus some that are starting the game, whether it's a few years or not. I don't think that matters because I think that's why I asked you at the beginning, our whole tradition of how we were raised, what we were afforded, is something valuable to recognize and be conscious of. It's like,
right.
Always know where you came from. What's that old Southern saying about something about be aware of your raisin or something like that, or don't get far from your raisin. You know what that's saying?
No,
it's an old.
Don't forget where you came from.
That's what it really comes down to is do not forget your roots. If you know what I mean. Like don't get so far ahead and you become a big superstar and you think, oh, I got this, and no, because that's when it all comes down. So because at one point or another, there's going to be one day out of that week, and within that week, there's going to be 1 hour, and there may be just 1 minute where you're like really challenged and struggling. Some people call it burnout. Some people just call it mental challenges. Some people call it, just a difficulty. Like your printer broke, your car ain't gonna get you to the post office in time. You ran out of supplies, and it's all in one day. And then somebody gives you a phone call, and you're like, oh Lord, I didn't need that news.
Yeah.
And it's like when that happens, and that's just a natural discourse of life. I mean, things happen. How you react to it is one thing. As opposed to letting it react you, as I like to say. So, if you had to give an important tip to a new reseller that maybe we're watching this in a couple months, or a couple of years or something like that, Tommie, what could you afford to them about like, hey, keep up, keep chin up or something? What kind of, what words, give us your wise words.
I mean, anything you do, and this is not just for, new resellers, for any reseller.
Good.
Is you got to stay committed. You got to stay committed. You got to be persistent. Don't let one issue turn you away from reselling. Everything that you do in this business is only guarantee in this business is you're going to spend some money. That's the only guarantee. There's no guarantee you're going to make money. You know, we look at numbers and we try to determine, you know, based off of the data, what sells and what don't sell. But it's still at the end of the day, those are just numbers. There's no guarantee in this business. The only guarantee, like I said, is you will spend some money, because you got to spend some money to make some money. But at the same time, there's no guarantee in that. So don't get discouraged. You know, stay committed and be persistent, and don't stop at every roadblock that you come across.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's really what it's about. You know, we want to make a commitment here, Luis and I, and with fellows like you, and we hope to have you, you know, sometime in the not so distant future, maybe in the next year, you know, just come back and revisit some of the stuff, tell us where your status is, and you know, I just think that commitment is a sacred honoring of yourself. You know, honor is something that you don't hear about, and it sounds cliche to some people. You as a military man understand honor. You know, I know you recognize it. You know, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, exactly. You know, but has there ever been a time you mind? I'm gonna get a little personal. Now you can answer it or not. You know, choose to pass if you want. But like, has there been a time where you wanted to see a walk away? Like you like, that's it. I don't want to do this no more. You know,
from reselling?
Yeah.
Oh, never. I love this, man. I've found something that I truly, outside of, you know, my personal life, that I love, man. Yep. I let me say this right here. I used to be a big time Xbox Madden football player, right? Trying to relive my glory days through a video game. And that video game used to take up majority of my time that I had during the day. You know, used to be a battle, you know, between, you know, my loved ones in the game. I had to choose.
It's like a mental addiction almost.
Right. Exactly. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Until I found this, that game was number one, man. But now I very rarely touch that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about rarely, like maybe once a week, maybe once a month, you know, type of deal. So
that's part of that discipline too, where you realize you got to look back and go, "Why am I really playing this?" You know, it's
it was self gratification that I was getting from that game, man. That's it.
Thank you. Okay,
you know, that was it, man. It wasn't nothing more, nothing less.
So us as resellers, that's something we can look forward, you know, to, is like, when am I in like crutch mode or whatever it is? Like, I want instant gratification, or I want self gratification. You know, am I going out to shop because I'm using this as a, you know, as an excuse? And do I need it when I got a garage full of stuff to sell? No, I mean, like, these are things we think it's good to talk about and read. I mean, so all of us know it, but we don't. It's like a good friend. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Or don't get in my bit. No, I'm asking you why you're doing this. You know, we need these mental reminders, and I'm hoping that, you know, Luis and I talk about this. Like, if this is the platform, let it be here, but we can gently, you know, give a good kick in the butt. And so I think Luis wants to let you know that John Madden was not only a Raider, he was the coach of a Raider. So we need to let you know that, you know,
I respect you.
We're always gonna have you come back. We're gonna, you know, we embrace you. We'll give you virtual hugs. But you know what? We'll let a good Steelers fan come back. You know? They're like my second team almost. That's Luis, you know.
Yeah, man, I respect John Madden. I mean, that's definitely one of the Raiders I respect.
70s and 80s, they were like, that was their time, like Dallas did back later on, you know.
Right.
Luis, what do you got anything for Tommie here? You know.
No, I mean, he touched a lot of the subjects that
you really
I
did.
wanted to ask to, and appreciate him answering a lot of stuff and and sharing some of his knowledge with all of us.
eBay, Amazon questions for me? Anything? Anybody want to cross over into the dark side?
Yeah, man.
I asked Luis, I said, "Do you have access to Amazon?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, You better get with the game and talk to Tommie here. You want to up that game, but I think Luis is like you. But let you, Luis, you speak for yourself. But Luis is like trying to do that level up. Talk, you know, tell him.
Okay.
Yeah, no, me right now, the only platform I really sell on is Macari. That's my platform right now. I did eBay years back,
Right.
but I had too many
That's
issues
not all
on
he's
it.
doing. Tell him what you
No,
do.
no, that's only my online stuff. I also do a lot of wholesale. I sell wholesale pallets.
Right.
So, but my wholesaler, I do buy pallets, and I'm the middleman when it comes to the wholesale
Right.
pallets. And I have customers that buy from me weekly. So it's a weekly thing, anywhere from 10 pallets up to 14 pallets. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm
You
moving in
you
that direct. I'm moving in that direction.
Look, you got Tommie's attention there.
Yeah, yeah.
You
That's
got
what I.
the space.
What was that?
You have the space where you
Yeah,
store this.
I have a garage that I utilize for that. So
Okay.
I have a room, and I have a whole back a yard that has a big patio back there. But I store them in the garage more safely instead of leaving them out.
Right. Right.
But my thing is, this is where it's going to get pretty crazy. I get them delivered early in the morning, around 8 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock, they're all gone.
Wow.
So I don't
know what he's doing.
Tom. I don't sit on them that much. They'll come in, and once they leave, I call my guys. Hey, pallets are here. You guys want to come get them? They'll get here within an hour, and they're all gone.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. That's where I want to get to, man. I just need the space.
Well, I mean, can you guys afford each other any advice? Like, maybe you can give Luis an idea, because I throw ideas at Luis all the time. Like, why do you do it on the weekend? That's your family time, And lately, what did you do? You just changed it to what day?
Yeah, I used to do it on the weekend, but now I do them every Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Every Thursday.
And you in Cali, right?
Yep, I'm out of Cali.
Yeah, so I know a couple of suppliers out there.
Mm-hmm.
What it is? Inmar. You ever heard of Inmar?
I've heard of them. Yeah, yes, I've heard of them.
Yeah, so it's a couple of spots. I mean, that's what I'm doing basically. I'm lining up my suppliers so that when I do get the facility, I can try to have some trucks coming. So it's like I got I don't know if you ever heard of Devil Dog Treasure Hunters.
Yes, I've heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, well, he's kind of like my mentor for the wholesale liquidation game. So we talk a lot, man. We talk a lot,
and it's important. Like that's a good point you brought up. And by the way, you guys connect after this, Tommie and Luis. You guys got to like hustle together here.
Right.
Yeah, that's what this connection's all about. Is like part of mental strategies is also the mental having somebody you can just bounce an idea off. We all busy. We get busy, but you can answer an email in 24 hours, 48 hours. And help each other. Just being there, say, hey, I don't know, but I can point you in another direction to another guy.
I mean, if he want to learn the Amazon game, if Louie want to learn the Amazon game, I mean, I don't. It's free, man. I don't charge people to teach you the Amazon game. I mean, as long as you are committed to learning. But for his wholesale liquidation, that's all new to me. I mean, you got a foot in the game more so than I do. When it comes to that
thing, you guys have, but you have something that maybe this person may not have, and this. And that's the beautiful thing is we get to share this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I tell the live every time. You better start making connections. Be nice to people because you know what? They can afford you just their knowledge, and it's not only that. It's not that, you scratch my back, I scratch your. It's really about like making this community tighter.
Right.
If we do this, why are we here? Are we listing or loafing like OBX Picker says sometimes, What are we doing here? So let's
for Rosie.
Yeah.
Yeah, what she gonna have to do is go to the Amazon website customer service, and basically they will give her the information on what she would have to do to put in an appeal to get her account back.
We got a couple more people in here. Iris came in a little while back. Mateo or Matt Romero.
Solo Seller came in too.
Out of California. He's got some good stuff going on in video games. And let me tell y'all.
Hyphy Gold.
Hyphy Gold. Check him out.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're not on Instagram, he's a really good cat. He was on Derek and Regina's I think it was last Wednesday.
Last week. Yeah, he was on there. Yes.
Yeah. I think I spoke to him on
that's him. That's the dude. So
okay.
A lot of good folk in here. And Cat, I don't know about that. And anyway, so if y'all, if some of you are new, forgive us if we don't remember your name. We're coming up close on an hour, and I want to be respectful of our guests' time and energy. I think we're good. Luis, if you got questions for Tommie and vice versa, y'all gonna have to take it off this show because we're about out of time.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll catch up with Tommie after.
Good, man. I got.
This is what it's about. We're you guys are brothers now, and it's like this is it. Yeah. We're in the resale game. We're gonna help each other. We're all family. But let me just say
on my show as well once we get into the new year.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's nice. I got cut off, but did you get to finish saying what you were saying, Tommie?
Yeah. I was just letting Cali know I want to try to get him on my show when we get into the new year.
Y'all have fun. Luis is he's my reseller brother from another mother. So on this note, thank you all in the chat. You guys have been really, amazing in sharing and showing us that interaction and love. And y'all, if you don't know Tommie, you need to get over there and you need to subscribe to him. He's been a part of this community longer than most probably even aware of. I mean, when I first got into this, I'm like, who is this guy Tommie? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this guy. He's a Pittsburgh fan, so and I love him to this day. I mean, he's been very respectful. You'll never see him out of order or out, like when you see him in the lives, he's very cordial. He greets everybody, and I think everybody in this community knows and loves him. So please subscribe to him. There is something you said that's going to change on your show. Is it the format?
Yeah. We working on changing the format for.
Is there anything you can say? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind talking about it if we got time.
Do you have time? Yeah, no.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I don't want you to stay any longer. You don't need to, but
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, what we're going to do is make it not just about we're not going to make it topic driven. We're going to change it to being more giving out more information, talking about reselling throughout like world instead of just like United States.
I love it. You're going international.
Yeah, because everything is going global anyway. So we basically going to talk about anything that has something to do with the hustle.
We are in 20 years, we're not going to know the difference. I really believe that.
Right.
We're going to be so integrated. There's this gentleman, not to throw in more confusion for you, Tommie, or anybody in the live. There's another gentleman by the name of Louis, and he spells it the way I do. I just put Louis because I spell it the French spelling, like Louis Armstrong, but I pronounce it Louis. So as far as YouTube goes, I'm Louis. This is Luis. So a gentleman named Louis I'm talking about who spells his name like I do. He's in Germany. You probably seen him. I want to say he's supposed to be scheduled on Derek's show one day.
Okay.
But he's awesome. He's what is his name? He's on Instagram, and I know you've seen him, but he's in Germany, and he was a military guy, and now he got family there, and he's there. So, like I told him, I said you got to stay connected because it's all international, no matter what.
Right.
This is great.
Yeah. I have quite a few of people outside of the United States who want to be on my show, but because of the time difference, is a pretty kind of put a strain on them. But
especially when you got yours on Friday at that time, it may
exactly. Mm-hmm. So I know one lady.
Pre-recorded?
Say again.
Have you thought about pre-recorded, Tommie?
No, I'm
thinking about it. That's what I'm asking you as a host.
I haven't. That's a good idea, but I haven't.
Well, I mean, because let's say you get somebody really big and you love them, and you're like, I would love to have you, Luis. I know it's simple, but like we know there's something on StreamYard. Maybe you have to buy the subscription, whatever it is. But we want to just like, I'm throwing ideas like host to hosts because Tommie's a host on his show, and there's ways we're going to get people. And I think that we're living in a world. And it's funny you mentioned the international thing. About 1 week or 2 weeks ago, we said this show is international because next week we're going to have somebody from Australia. No, we are. And it's like we can't. Monday's Mindful Merchants no more because when it's Monday here, it's already Tuesday that we talking to her in the future.
Right.
So it's really getting that affordability. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that's great. That's great.
You know, that whole thing. So when did you first like the Hulk? I mean, that's my
man.
I didn't know that about you.
From childhood, man, I got so much Hulk stuff, man. I got everything I get. If I go out and find some stuff while I'm retail arbitrage and they got Hulk, if I buy 5, I'm gonna keep 1. If I buy 3, I'm gonna keep 1. I mean, if I don't already have it. I got
like no more Hulk. No more Hulk.
This is the zombie Hulk.
Oh, okay. The Marvel zombies.
I just sold the zombie Batman. I got it at a garage sale for like $5 and sold it quick. Well, that's awesome.
I'm telling you, man, I got so much Hulk stuff, man. I mean, it just.
Yeah, you ain't
probably see that, but I mean, I got plenty of it, man.
Well, I can get. We'll do this. We'll say this for another time, but I'll tell you what. I've been a big Hulk fan since I was a kid, and I had one of the first big buys as a reseller I had when I was a little boy. Is at a flea market. I bought. Now I'm going to forget the number, but it's very close. It's either like 286 and 287 or whatever it was.
Right.
What's significant about that episode of that magazine, The Incredible Hulk, the comic book? Marvel. That was the introduction to the one and only. There would not be X-Men if it wasn't for him. Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
That episode, that was a magazine that he introduced the Wolverine. And would you believe it? It was about 7 years ago. I sold that on eBay. I paid my that month. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I regret it to this day. I wish I never sold it because I never did get it. What do you got graded? It was about 7 or 8, probably, maybe a little better.
Oh, okay.
An 8 or 9, but it was good. It was in good condition. So, well, we can talk all day. We love you, Tommie. We appreciate you being here.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
About your show, anything that's coming up, things.
Yeah, I mean, if you all have time, come through on Friday nights at 7:30. We're gonna have this will probably be our last show until December. Okay. And then in December, we're going to do 2 weeks, and then we're going to shut it down until after the new year.
Give it a little break, right?
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds good. Yeah, Luis and I, this is our I think here, what number is he now? Is he 8 or 9? I think he's number 8, right?
Yeah. Tommie? Yeah. I think so, yeah, number 8.
Awesome, man. We've been going, and we're like, oh, Lord, there's a lot of work.
Hey, it's some work, man.
Yeah, it's number 8.
Definitely some work. That you're reading right now? Is there any books that you would recommend business-wise, or just any books that are of value? It could be from the past.
I would say the number 1 book for me would be Rich Man, Poor Man.
Yeah,
that's a good. Get a chance to read that.
That's good.
Let's see.
Have you read that Sam Walton book that our guest a couple weeks back, Christopher, or was it last week that he was here? And so,
yeah, it was last week.
Yeah,
no, I never read it.
Yeah, he was like really. He was talking about specifics, and he's like, you might want to read that.
Right.
It talks about the man, in his mind behind this business and how he leveled up. And if you think about it, that's what Amazon wanted to defeat.
Right.
So it's always good to look back at our history, understand it, learn from it, right?
Yep.
All right. On that note, Luis, you want to lead us out?
Yeah, just want to thank Tommie for joining us today and sharing his knowledge and learn a little bit more about who Tommie is. So thank you, Tommie, for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody in the chat for also coming in and supporting us and showing love to Tommie. And make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. I dropped the link in the chat. Make sure you guys check out his live on Friday nights.
Yeah. And City Pickers are still going to be with you, correct?
Who that?
Chris and Tanya.
Yeah, for sure.
Subscribe to them too, Glass City Pickers.
And Dick It to the Hustle.
Yeah. Oh, yes. How can we forget? I would say Elgin, but it's not Elgin. It's Alton. I did know an Elgin once, but Alton. And he's he's in South Carolina, right? He's not far from
North Carolina.
Oh, he's North Carolina. Oh, forgive me, Lord. I'm going to get in trouble there. Well, no, we went over our time, but we really enjoyed it. And until next time, we look forward to being with you. You guys have questions, but make sure go see Tommie this Friday. He's he's got some good stuff. And I'll tell you what, if you want motivation and you really want to start thinking business-wise and mental strategies, go see him.
Yep.
On that note, you guys maintain your focus, elevate, stay positive, stay out of trouble, and keep your business clean. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you guys next time.
Take care. All right. Thank you guys in the chat.